All right, game six, the last one of the match here, and there are a lot of things on the board. A lot of things, a lot of good things is what I mean. Okay, so hunting party, yeah, that's good. But butcher, always good. Ghost ship, horrible attack to be hit by. Page is there, so champion is there, and sea hag curses. There's transmogrify. There's no trashing really outside of butcher. Transmogrify could make things into better things, but not really thin your deck too much. There's treasure map if you want to do that. So this board is kind of weird for me in my head anyway. And what I wanted to do was push that page up to champion as soon as possible because there's Sea Hag and that's irritating and I didn't want to play with a Sea Hag because it doesn't do much for you. And there's also Ghost Ship. You do not want to be hit by a Ghost Ship every turn. That is just awful. And there's Rogue. There's a lot of attacks on the board. Champion is valuable just for the Infinite Lighthouse. So that's what I wanted to do from the beginning. Also, the infinite actions thing is very, very good because you can get your draw in and then do nice things that way. I mean, look, champion takes away a lot of the payload, right? Ghost ship doesn't do anything. Rogue doesn't do anything except give you silver. Sea hack does zero, absolutely nothing. So because champion takes away all those things, what's left is butcher and transmogrify maybe. So that's what you want to build your deck, to draw a lot and maybe play a few butchers. And obviously money is involved because that always is involved with champion, the champion line, page line. So my opponent goes for the Sea Hag and page opening, right? I understand that completely. I considered doing that, but I went for the Scavenger on the page. I feel like my Scavenger could um, make this page into a champion fast enough that the Sea Hag will be a bad buy in my opponent's deck, you know? Um, so nothing good could come of that is what I had hoped. Punish the purchase of the Sea Hag that way. Because with champion and play, Sea Hag is so much junk. So much junk. I mean, without champion, you can maybe still discard something even if all the curses are gone. But with champion, no way, man. No way. So here I hit 5-2 as well with the Scavenger. Now I have a few choices, and stables over hunting party for the draw. The reason for the stables is that it goes forward 3 cards in your deck, which means I'm more likely to see, not necessarily more likely, but I have a wider search space with these stables, guaranteed wider search space than with the hunting party. With the shelters around and with the curses that I'm taking in my deck, that hunting party could just be a lab. Meaning I could just go 2 cards forward instead of 3 cards forward with the stables instead. So that's why I pick up a couple stables early on here. Even though hunting party is probably better later in the game, really I'm about early game play here. Just trying to turn this page into champion as soon as possible and then build from there. 4 here is an uncomfortable amount. I don't really want a transmogrify because it doesn't draw me cards. What does draw me cards is page. I considered a second scavenger here, but I decided against it. Maybe I should have picked up the second scavenger, even though there were quite a bit of terminals in my deck. So my opponent is keeping up with this page upgrade thing. I was hoping they would be more behind on it at this point, especially with no scavenger in their deck, but they are hot on my heels here with the treasure hunter in play at this point. So they have the warrior now. I had my warrior last turn. $4 is a bit of a again, it's an uncomfortable price point. Like, what do you buy? My opponent ends up buying a page just like I did. You don't really want a second transmogrify. It doesn't do a whole lot early in the game. Later, it'll do quite a few things. I'm happy to see this warrior. Not happy to see it draw the scavenger at all. But what can you do? Things happen. So now I pick up the transmogrify because I am already to hero. So my hero is safe from warrior attacks. It's just a matter of time before I get the champion down. So maybe now the transmogrify could put in some work. Don't have to be so concerned about cycling again through my deck very fast here. So here, nice thing with the transmogrify, turning that overgrown estate into a page. So you also get to draw a card off of that. And 5 for my opponent is another hunting party. So They have a bit more hunting party. They have more hunting parties than I do. I have more stables, but I think the hunting party is the better card overall if the game were to go long enough. So hero here showing up very early at the top of the shuffle, going to gain the gold very easily because it is a butcher target and also with the most amount of money. No reason not to pick gold. And now on 5 I gain the choice between stables and hunting party, and I think at this point I switch over from the stables into the hunting parties now. Actually, I seem to be hovering over Butcher, so maybe I do pick up the Butcher at this point, but because Butcher is going to be very, very important. But no, I still need some more draw before adding payload. Do not convert that page into Treasure Hunter. Still a bit concerned about the draw, I guess. Oh, I do exchange it, never mind. I do exchange the page. My apologies. Because he can turn into a warrior, and yeah, warriors draw. I'm soon to champion, very, very soon to champion. Just have to see that Scavenger and put it on the top of my deck. 3 here, just another page. No reason not to do the page really. And now you see hunting parties come into play here, right? Skipping quite a few cards, drawing through, finding uniques. Hero is up for my opponent, and 8 they could go for province with no plus buy on the board. That's not crazy. That's not crazy. But they go for the hunting party, which I think is the smarter thing to do. Still need a little bit of draw in your deck, I believe. Maybe not so for my opponent, but me, I need it because I've taken a couple curses. Right, so far through this whole ordeal, I've only taken 2 curses. I consider that to be a big plus for me. I'm thrilled about that. Transmogrify here, this hovel into a page. Maybe I draw the champion of the page, right? You know what? I draw the champion of the page. Yeah. So no more curses for me. That Sea Hag is a dead card. For my opponent, only managed to land 2 curses, and we'll see how influential those curses turn out to be. Scavenger top decks a hunting party at this point, and on 5 now I pick up the butcher because I believe I have sufficient draw, and I really want to see that butcher to start, chopping and changing things in my deck. At this point, the second Scavenger, I'd have loved it because now I could play it without, having to worry about terminal collision. And really, maybe at that point I should have been a second Scavenger just, to get the flipping of the deck more consistent. 6 here for my opponent, going to pick up a butcher there, following my butcher. Butcher is so key because there's no plus buy. The other gain comes from your butcher, and that's why it's key. So here I play the Scavenger first, top decking a stable so that I'm guaranteed to draw it, and I draw into another one. I find the butcher along with a treasure hunter. Now this pained me to play this treasure hunter after my opponent gained 3 things last turn, but I decided to play it. The silver isn't terrible in this game with no plus buy. Is a butcher target, is a lot of money, and maybe you could play a little bit more sluggy now with all that money in your deck. So I convert one of these silvers into another hunting party. I have 8 at this point, so I could go for the hunting party at this point, or another butcher, for example, or another butcher. I think I end up going for the province here, which seems like is wrong. Seems like it's wrong, but I go for the province still. Turning in the treasure hunter into a warrior. So this hand isn't great at all, but I kind of knew that from I saw all my good cards at the top of the shuffle there, so I knew that this hand wouldn't be that good. In fact, I can barely do anything. I could probably pick up a page or an estate at best here. Whereas now you see the hunting parties really coming out from my opponent. In fact, they're able to get rid of their Sea Hag now and make it into a hunting party, so that is excellent for them. Excellent. Butcher trashes this silver into another butcher, I believe. So 2 butchers. So my opponent's deck is looking very strong at this point. The hunting parties are really on song and drawing through big portions of the deck, and they pick up a province. So we are 1-1 on the provinces. I'm 2 curses down though. That's something to keep in mind. And my opponent plays a warrior into a hunting party. And has a bit of a think, whereas my hand here looks a bit sketchy. I just have the warrior to draw. I could probably get to province given the kind of money that I have in my deck, but I'd like to see my butcher. And maybe I want to buy another butcher. Maybe I want to transmogrify this gold into a butcher. That's kind of wild, but it's just things to think about. You never know, right? You never know. You might need the butcher to win. Who knows? So just 7 for my opponent. Very happy about it. Very happy. My opponent picks up a butcher now. This is the second butcher they have. So I don't know what they picked up when when I said they had the butcher. Maybe it was a hunting party. Anyway, so they have two butchers to my one now, I believe. I believe that's the count. I'm not entirely sure. I'm able to see a few action cards here and enough to get up to province. At this point, I don't have enough time to turn these pages into warriors for draw, so I just keep them as pages. I do convert the treasure hunter into a warrior though, so that is good for me. Get a bit more draw in the deck. So here, a lot of hunting parties come out from my opponent. They have quite a bit. Their deck is looking quite strong, and with no curses in, they have one less thing to trip over really. So out comes the butcher, converts a necropolis into a page, I believe, and the second butcher comes out here. So scary times for me here. The game isn't looking good for me at this point. I believe the second butcher turns silver into maybe another hunting party or something. I think as stables actually. I don't know why they took these stables. I mean, surely you would rather have hunting party than these stables at this point. And picking up buying a province, right? So that is their turn there. And I luckily find my hunting parties as well as my stables and my scavenger. So it means I could top deck something good. So I'm thrilled about that. At least my next turn won't be totally dead. So here just check in to see if I can chop this silver into something, and I can. So I get a second butcher, and I've used out all my hunting parties. I think the best thing I could put at the top of my deck is a stables. So I put the stables there and buy a province. So I am ahead, I believe, but only by 4 points. And my opponent has those two butchers and a lot more draw than me, I believe, with the hunting parties. So I think this turn is yeah, this is the turn actually. I drew into 3 action cards. I was genuinely expecting to see like a lot of non-action cards, just a lot of money and curses and whatnot, but very happy to see action cards, especially the butcher. And here I was just looking at this log so closely. Where's the butcher? Where's the butcher? He didn't find the butcher. He didn't find any butcher. That is incredible. That is incredible. I think I checked. You'll see me type it in the chat here. The top 4 cards of his deck at the end of this turn is what? Butcher, Butcher, Stables, Hunting Party, or something like that. No Butcher, and the most he could do is Province at this point. Where are my Butchers? Where are my Butchers? They're at the top of the deck. You could get to use them next turn. If there is a next turn, we'll see what I can do. Can I get 2 provinces? If I could butcher province into province and buy the other province, I'll win. So warrior, warrior, aha. I have a scavenger. Stop. Think. And here I choke again. I choke again because the line here to follow is scavenger, put butcher on top of the deck, draw it with warrior. Then you butcher province into province, play the second butcher, and you have enough money to buy the last province for the win. You could even butcher that stables into duchy, buy the last province. That's the line. I missed the line. I realized it after. I was like, oh, wait. I wanted that warrior to draw after I played that scavenger. Because now I see it. I see butcher province into province, and if I get the butcher, I will have enough money to buy the last province. But I need to draw the butcher, which is what the warrior was for. Instead, I have to, make the stunt or die play, where I discard a copper to the stables to draw the butcher and hopefully find back money. I do, luckily, again, if I lost this, I had nobody to blame but myself, and I find enough money to make the play that I saw somewhere in the middle of the turn here. So I turn that province into province. This transmogrify can go into the second province, and I can buy a duchy to close out the game. So that's game 6. That's the match. There are quite a lot of good games in this match. I'm happy about that.